Hi, this is Phyllis with Phyllis Finds, coming back to you with a tutorial and a show you of how I made and upcycled the bead garland that I got at the Dollar Tree, and some of the things that I bought to use to make this garland a little more upcycled. Now everybody has been showing the fabric garlands, and of course I've never seen any in any of the Dollar Trees that are near me, so I decided to create something myself. And what I found was a bead garland, and this bead garland had little mushrooms in it. It had orange beads. They also had one with pumpkins and one with acorns. I was going to use the mushrooms in it, but I decided they were too bright for what I was going to do. I'd have to repaint them, which I could do. The other thing I had was another string of beads, and they were these square ones, and I had contemplated putting these in there, but I think I'm going to save these for a different bead garland and use them in that. I also pulled out my jar of wood beads. Now, I did see at Dollar Tree that they had packages of blonde, lighter and darker wood beads in their Crafter's Square area. So if you can't find the garland like this, you can also find wood beads in there. Now I did take everything off the garland so I could get these out, and then turned around and restrung them back on. Now what I did have was the fat quarters, which I cut into strips. Now I used, actually I cut all four of them into strips, and I had cut them at 10-inch strips by 1 inch. This turned out to be just way too long and looked too spindly, so I did change and make them 8-inch strips, 1 by 8 inch. And what I ended up not liking, this bright yellow in here, it's too springy of a color, and so I changed it out and went into my stash and found some fabric that had that was in the fall pile of stuff, and used that. I also used the wood cutouts. Now there were some like this mushroom. I put paper on them on both sides, and then distressed them with the Ranger Distress Oxide to darken the edges and make the stem a little more darker. I also put some on the leaves. Hard thing about the leaves is with all these little ins and outs, getting those down in there so that it is smooth around there was a little on the harder side. It's hard to put the paint in there. I did go through and use a marker and mark up these guys. It was this one that I used. Marked them up and put some copper in there. This one I didn't do. Trying to take the paper off, it chipped off some of the wood on the back side. So I stopped doing those and decided to paint them. I just took some acrylic paint and different colors and painted them up. This one I have to still go through and put some of the designs on it. But that's what I decided to put every other one in there. Now this is from the paper pack that I got. I found some of the yellow in there, and it's very textural. So I really like this. I wish there had been more of it. They did have the cream colored one, but I thought it was too light for what I wanted in here. I wanted more of the fall colors. So in my stash, I pulled out some other fall colors that would be more mushroom-like. So that's what I did with those. Now, I did use the cord that came with the garland. Instead of making it a lot longer, this is 48 inches. It'll fit in the area where I need to put it. But you can always take and get other cord. There's, you know, many different types of cord you can pull from. And you can either do that or you can add to it and make it longer. Now I did also, to make it easier to bead these back on, because this raffia type jute cord does not work very well for beading beads. You can't get them on and off very easy. I did take a little bit of my glue, the art glitter glue. You can also use Mod Podge or any other kind of white glue you got, and just daub it along there and let it dry, and it becomes a really perfect needle. So I was going to show you a little bit of how I did each of these. Now there is a bead between each strip of fabric, and so in doing so, you can flip them. You can let them go wherever they want to go, or you can push it down so that your tassels are hanging down. It's whatever way you want it to be. So with each one, I also, there's two options to do for this. I did pull out my pinking shears and cut this fabric. Some of the other ones, I just cut them straight. So I used a rotary cutter to cut these. And so you can, you know, do just about anything you want. These I just hand cut. They're not perfect. Some spots are wider than others, but that's okay. It's going to still look fine no matter which way you do it. So with this, I have a sequence going. The green, I've got this leaf right here. This color, and I'll do the green again. So let's get this here. Now this one here, I do believe is still at the longer size. So we're going to just take our scissors and lop off an inch. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, you can do whichever way you want to. You can cut it off after you put it on if you decide it's not it's still too long or too short. You can experiment a little bit. I did test out smaller strips. Like this one here was 5 inches. Thought it was too short. This one here is actually 6 inches. And I did test it out to see whether I liked it. Now 6 inches wasn't too bad either. 5 inches too short. 6 inches, it's okay. It will make a short little fluffy thing. I would say either 7 or 8 inches, and that's where I'm at with this. After you knot it, you push the bead down. You grab your next one. So again, I'm going to lop off the inch. And I kind of fold them over so it makes a little spot there. Tuck it under and just one single knot. Now I did do the handkerchief style knot on one of them, but it made it really super short, so I chose not to do it that way. Now if you don't want your beads to come off, you can use the clip. Clips work great to hold everything and keep it from sliding off your tassels. And then each of these I put about 6 inches apart. So I've got that one there. So I'm going to put the next one in. See, I was going to use the yellow mushroom this time. And all I did with this, you can loop it through like this, or because these come with their little ties. Let's see if I can get that to go through now. There we go. You don't have to be exact on this. You can eyeball it as to where you want it. And the nice thing about these is you can move them to different spots because they're just loosely hanging down below. They're not up tight to the beads. And just do a single knot at the top. And there you go. You got your little dangle. So you just continue on doing this, rotating each one as you go. Kind of making your ties the same length as you go along. Push it out. Push your bead over. Grab your next tie. Oh, this in here, I think I need to shorten it. Yep. Nice thing about it, all of these little bits and pieces can be used in your junk journal. If you make like a fall junk journal, you can use them for little clusters, so they won't go to waste. Not quite centered. Let's move that down a bit. Not too far down. Okay. Looks good. And there we go. The next one in line. Now we can continue on down. And this one here, I'm going to trim off this outer edge. Cut off that inch. And we just continue on down to the end until you either run out of your string. Now I don't want to completely run out because I'm going to need to put my little loop on the end. So we're probably going to get maybe one more on here. One or two anyway. And you can also, if you want, tear your fabric. Now I do a lot of tearing of the fabric rather than cutting it. And it does go very, very true and straight when you do tear it. And you don't have to worry about the fabric not being true to the length you need it. So tearing is an option. You just snip every 1 inch and then tear the pieces off, and you once again have a unique frayed look if you want a more frayed natural look. That is always a possibility on doing these. Now I'm almost to the end here. Let's see how far I need. I don't think I'm going to need all of these beads. More off. I think we will put one more because we're going to put one more leaf on the end down here, and with this bright yellow one down on the end. Okay, let's see here. We need this one. Nice thing about the little knots, they also help to hold everything and keep it in place and prevent it from coming off the end. And so the green would be the last one. I actually started with one of those. Okay, maybe we won't go the green one. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to stop with that one there. Because we do need to have our loop. And all we did was knot it there, and we are done with the garland, other than putting our leaf in there. So once again, going through, and we're going to put this about right here, probably move these around a little bit. It's almost towards the end is where I put the other one. So, and once again, just knot it around. And there you go. Your garland is complete. Real fun, real fast, and super, super cute. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Hope you can make something with yours and do some upcycling with some of the things that you might find at the Dollar Tree. And if you can't find some of the things that others have found, create your own. Think outside the box. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening.